Okay, welcome everyone to the webinar tonight with us from Rapid Leverage with our special guest Quentin Pain, the founder of the popular accounts software. That's accounts with a Z. My name is Suraj and I run the Rapid Leverage Forum, and it's an absolute pleasure and honor to have Quentin on the line today to share information with us as entrepreneurs and small business owners about how we can satisfy this part of our business, which dare I say, is the boring part. And I hope Quinton doesn't mind me saying that accounting is boring, but it's really, really necessary. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what Quinton has to say today. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we kick off. If anyone's got any questions throughout the webinar, don't feel shy or don't hesitate to ask them in the little chat box or the question box, just as you put in your yeses that you can hear me. I'll be monitoring them throughout, and if there's any time I can butt into Quinton's presentation, I'll do so to ask the question. If not, I'll leave the questions to the end of the webinar where we can answer them all at once. So make sure you stay tuned until the very end where we can answer all your questions and cover everything that you need to know. Also, at the very end of this webinar, I'm going to be giving away a free gift to some people as a special offer, and I'm going to share with you how you can get accounts software for your home accounting or your business accounting absolutely free of charge. And I'm sure you want to learn how you could do that. So I'm looking forward to speaking to you about that at the end of the evening. Before we kick off, I just want to mention one very quick slide about what the Rapid Leverage Forum is. We're a forum on the internet where we help entrepreneurs who are wasting a lot of valuable time trying to find the best strategies to market their businesses online by trying to look for them all themselves. When you spend too much time Googling for information and you don't know whether you're finding the right information, that's the problem that we solve in our forum. We've got a very nice international community of entrepreneurs, marketers, business owners, and some very, very clever people in there who can help with all sorts of online marketing strategies. So I'll tell you a bit about that later on, but just bear in mind that you're all invited to join us at the Rapid Leverage Forum to take part in discussions and webinars and so forth. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, without further ado, is invite Quinton into the webinar, and he can take over from me. Quinton, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Quinton. Thanks very much for joining us. It's a real honor for us to have you on the webinar presenting this fantastic software. So I'm just going to pass the screen over to you now, and you should be able to share your screen, and we can kick off.
That's great. Thanks so much, Suraj. Um, just to reiterate what Suraj said, Rapid Leverage Forum is a great place to go to if you want to find out what's hot in internet marketing. I know that the audience tonight, it's come from my free online bookkeeping course, Accounting for Everyone. There's also a number of our existing customers as well. So I'd like to welcome you all. The majority of you will either be in business or thinking about starting a business. So, as I say, Rapid Leverage Forum is a great place to go for the really important stuff these days, which is internet marketing. Something I've been looking into for a long time, actually, but really seriously the last 3 to 4 years. And I came across Suraj fairly recently and signed up to that forum, and it's been a brilliant place. Anyway, we're here tonight to learn, as Suraj said, about the boring part of businesses. um, and the interesting thing about me is that I can call myself an accountant. In fact, I actually got my qualifications last year, but I started my first business when I was 23 and discovered I was unemployable. And at that point, I was playing in a rock band in London, and I was whizzing up and down the M11 on a motorbike and running out of money. And I saw these guys delivering parcels on a motorcycle in London, and I thought I could do that in Cambridge. And I quickly discovered then that if you walk into a corporate business with a leather jacket on and long hair, they don't give you any business. So unfortunately, in 1979, a long time ago, all my lovely hair came off, and that was it. I was suddenly a business person. So started up a courier business. I quickly thought we can do the accounting here more efficiently by writing some software. And back then, of course, Windows didn't exist. MS-DOS had only just seen the light of day. So I grabbed myself a BBC micro computer and learned to program, and built a little piece of accounting software with the help of our accountants at the time. And that was it, all set. Sold that business, and then in '85, after trying still to sort of become a rock star, I discovered whilst I could play a guitar, the music was rubbish. So I thought, well, I wonder if I can sell that software, and that's how my the business, really what's become accounts, kicked off. And the strange thing about all of this lot, as you can see, I'm a sort of musical creative person, and I've ended up with sort of software and accounting. They're just so different things. But I found trying to understand the logic behind it interesting, which is amazing to me even now. But it is. It took me a long time, 15 years, to really get to grips with what I'd actually created. And what I did was, I was so amazed at this that I wrote a book, and I self-published that in 1998, and it was called Accounting for Everyone. And that's the book that became this online course that I now give to the world. And incidentally, we've now got over 8,000 people using that course, so I know it does a lot of good. Now, the accounting software that we've now developed is a direct result of understanding that logic. And what I love to do is explain to people how it all works. And it's for this simple reason. If you know how accounting works, you'll not only be able to talk to an accountant should you use one, or even become one, you'll also understand far more about your business and its value and how to value it. And other bits and bobs. And what I'm going to do, today, this next 45 minutes or so, is going to spend the first bit, a quick bit about the logic of accounting, which you'll hear nowhere else on the planet, I guarantee. And then that'll be over quite quickly, so you won't fall asleep. And then I'll just show you how our software, Business Accounts, works. So here we are, Accounting for Business the Easy Way. Bookkeeping 101. At this point, you're probably all thinking, what? Exactly, what? Why, where, who, and how? Don't worry, I'll go through it very quickly. Bookkeeping, right, all it is, it's the flow of money in and out of anything you want to keep track of. And the reason I'm saying this is because I want to demystify it for you, so that you can go bookkeeping, piece of cake, just, no problem at all. Now I can get on, do my business and understand it. But this is all it's about, just recording the flow of money, and that's the most important thing to remember. The flow of money in and out of whatever it is you want to keep track of. You have to keep books. I'm sure you've been through this before. Well, number one, it's a legal requirement in the UK. They're the actual words, legal, which means if you don't do your books, you're breaking the law. So that's a pretty good reason to me. But a much more important one, management. You can answer questions like, what's your business worth? And that's what we're doing here. We're building a business. It's not just about us. It's about us and our business. They're separate things. Bookkeeping, understanding it, understanding your books, even if you don't do the bookkeeping, you'll know what your business is worth. You'll also know how much you've got, right? How much you owe and how much is owed to you. So you can make decisions like, can I retire? Or perhaps, should I get a job? Okay. Where do you keep your books? You can keep them anywhere. No legal requirement. Okay, but you must keep them. This is in the UK for a minimum of 6 years. Something you should know. Another thing that very few people know, you can actually keep all of your books completely digitally. You don't need paper copies. So once computers appeared and HMRC caught up, they said, oh, actually, yeah, we have to accept that. So that's another good thing to know. But as I put there, little disclaimer, laws do change. So just keep up with HMRC. Or if you get your business very successful, hire a bookkeeper or an accountant. The great thing about this is you'll know what they're talking about. So who's allowed to keep books? Right, anybody can keep the books. If you're not being paid, literally anybody can keep the books, which is why also anybody can call themselves an accountant. Right, but if you are being paid for it, then you have to be registered with HMRC for money laundering regulations, came out in 2007. If you're a bookkeeping or accounting professional, your professional association will almost certainly cover you for that anyway, but that's the point. Anybody can keep their books, so you can keep your own books. How to keep them? 3 ways: on paper, computer spreadsheet, or dedicated computer software. So I say this on purpose because a few other software vendors try to give the idea that because the law changed in April this year about doing VAT returns online, you're going to need computer software to do it. And I'm here to just squash that myth. You don't. You can still do it on paper because you can log into HMRC online and file your VAT return. Now, in Britain, the number of small businesses has gone up in the last 11 years from 3.5 million to 4.5 million. That, as you can probably see, is a massive increase, and it's not talked about. I've not read it anywhere. I got this research done from the Institute of Directors about a month ago. I was interested to see what was changing in Britain, and the vast majority of all these businesses are micro businesses. So many of them are not VAT registered. And here's another little snippet you need to know. If your turnover goes to £77,000 in the UK or greater, then you must register with HMRC for VAT. So there's two little tiny sections to go, so I'll get through this very quickly, but these are the bits that demystify accounting, right? Number one, everything is an account, okay? You're used to having a bank account and a credit card account, and maybe you think a petrol account is something that an executive would get with a company car, but in accounting, everything is an account. So if you want to record the pens and paper you buy, you will have a pens and paper account. So if you think this way, whatever it is you want to track, it's an account. It makes it simpler. The second thing is there are no special accounts. And that's really important to understand. Because if you've ever looked at a set of books, you'll see things like depreciation account and accumulated depreciation account and contra account and accruals and prepayments and all of these crazy things. And if you've been through an academic course on bookkeeping, you will get taught that these things are kind of special. Well, I'm here to tell you they're not. Every single account does the same thing. It simply records, remember, the flow of money in and out. Now, this is great to know, because if you get your set of books given to you by an accountant and there's something you don't understand, ask them what it is. And whatever it is, you'll get it. Ah, right, you can say, so the VAT control account, that records how much VAT I'm collecting and then paying back. Yep, that's it. And they're all the same. And the third and most vital thing, name them what you like. There are no laws about what you call accounts. So, for example, you'll get a set of books and it'll come back and it'll go trade debtors or trade creditors or something like that, or accounts receivable or accounts payable. And you look at it and you think, oh, well, whatever, it's all boring, don't understand it. What it actually means is unpaid invoices. Okay, so, or in the case of trade creditors, it's unpaid bills. And this is the thing, you can name those accounts what you like. Now, if you saw a set of accounts and it said unpaid bills 10,000, you know that you've got to find £10,000 at some point to pay them. So this is what I'm talking about. It's de-skilling it and telling you you can name things in any way you like, and once you give them a correct name, you know what they mean. So this is a brilliant thing to know, and especially if you're running a business, a new business, understanding this stuff, really important to you. I hope Siraj will look at his next set of accounts with a greater amount of enlightenment. Okay, the other important thing, you've got your accounts, the other important thing is the transactions. And this is it, right? That's all you need to know, accounts and transactions. And transactions literally record the flow of money from one account to another. So, for example, if you're paying off your credit card, you'll make a transaction from your bank to your credit card, and you'll put in the amount. And that's it. And that all transactions are the same. It's just money from one place to another. And then you look at the balances and you see what's left. And it's seriously that easy. It took me, as I say, 15 or 16 years to actually kind of understand that by breaking down to the logic. And I read all of the books out there. I bought pretty much every beginner's book on accounting. And they were all massively long. Even the really simple one, Accounting for Idiots, they make it so hard, and it isn't. So what I did then was the computer software started to evolve from this, and I thought, do you know what? You don't need journals and day books and cash books and sales ledgers and nominal ledgers and purchase ledgers. You just need a simple table to record this stuff. And I tried this out. At the time, I showed this to a chartered accountant, the top of his profession in the UK, and in fact very well known globally. And I gave him my ideas, and I said to him at the time, look, I'm writing this book. I don't have any qualifications. Would you mind writing a foreword for me? And he said, well, I'm pretty important, you know. And I said, yeah, I know that. And he said, I'll tell you what, I'll give it to some graduates I've got. And if they like the book, then I'll do it for you for nothing. And they liked the book, and I'm pleased to say he did it for me for nothing. So that kind of set the thing going. So what happened? Accounts came along, formed the company, set it up, and it's grown a lot since then. Our software is now stocked by Apple stores right across Europe, 50 plus stores, and in the PC world throughout the UK as well. So we've done quite well. It's been done entirely through word of mouth, people telling other people, and they're going, do you know, I can actually understand what I'm doing now. And so that's it. Now you can get a trial of the software on the website accounts.com. Also, if you want to learn more about bookkeeping and understanding it the easy way, okay, seriously, you'll love this if you want to understand it, go and sign up on my free course, accountingforeveryone.com. It's a 12-week online course, no cost. It's delivered one lesson a week, very simple, you won't get overwhelmed, and you can ask questions and everything else. And if you want to talk to us in my company, feel free to telephone us, the number's there. So, we're going to move swiftly on to the software. Now, this is not a normal thing that one does when you're going to go live, which we are now, and demonstrate software. This is our latest version. It's in beta, which means it's not quite ready to be released. It's finished, but we're just testing it out properly, removing the bugs. I think we're 99.9% recurring there. So I'm actually going to show you this latest version. Anybody who buys our software will get this version completely free. So no cost for this. It will come straight to you if you have any version of Business Accounts 2012. You'll get this. There's very little difference really from the look of the thing, although there are a few nice little bits and bobs. But I'm showing you this because it's got some neat little features. And I'll take you through just setting up a company first. So when you get this, install it on your machine, runs on a Windows and Mac, and also Linux as well, and on the latest Mac Mountain Lion. You'd be pleased to hear it also runs on Windows 8, which is released next month. So runs on all this stuff. By the way, if you're in business and you do use an accountant and you're on a Mac and they're on a PC, that's fine. The data file is completely interchangeable. No problem at all. So let's give this a name. Let's just call it Test Company. See, my imagination here is flying away. This is part of our sort of wizard steps, and here's a little next button here. I'll click on that. Next question, are you an accountant or bookkeeper? Now, for those people listening to me today who are becoming an accountant or a bookkeeper, or you are already, you'll want to turn this particular option on, because what that will do is fill the whole software full of accountancy jargon. So you'll get credits and debits and ledgers. You'll have a chart of accounts that includes debtors and creditors and the terms that you're used to. For everybody else, leave this as no, and you'll get the thing in the whole software in terms that you can understand, as you'll see in a second. Because we cover the whole of Europe VAT-wise, you've got a choice here. By default here, it always sets to United Kingdom, so we can just click on Next. By the way, we've got people from the States here, and I know we do have a few. You can also set this for USA. So this deals with sales tax in the USA as well. Covers all the states that have it. I think there's got about 3 or 4 states that don't actually have any sales tax. Pretty wonderful. I think we could learn a thing or two from them in Europe here. But I dare say in time they'll also end up with sales tax. I don't know whether you know this, but at some point the US will almost certainly adopt VAT. Canada has already done this. They're going through a transition at the moment, and they actually have a more than one option there, both VAT and GST, which is a goods sales tax, I believe. But anyway, there we are. It covers it. Next, your entity type, self-employed, really self-employed or limited company. That's it. Our software is aimed at small businesses. If you're a large business and you've got a finance director and 100 staff and the rest is software, it's not for you. It's meant for small businesses, so you can load it up, chuck in all your paperwork into it, look at the results, and then go and get a life. I'm going to leave this as self-employed at the moment. We move on. Here's where you can add and remove bank accounts. This is just a setup thing. You can do all of this stuff later on anyway. We can just skip these steps, and I'm going to do that now. You can also put in some opening balances here. Very straightforward. Next thing is your company VAT registered. If you're not, click no, and none of the VAT stuff will get in your way. So all the tables will be VATless, and you can turn it on later should you get that threshold. So say currently in 2012, £77,000, you can just turn on the VAT options and carry on. Let's click yes for now, because our VAT is pretty special. So VAT, we have to set the start date. I'm just going to backdate this to January 1st. Set this for any time you like. You can change this at any time as well. Standard VAT period 3 months, accept that as well. Also standard VAT, it can also handle cash accounting, which is for people who only pay VAT when their invoices are paid, and it also covers the flat rate scheme as well. That's around about 99% of most small businesses. Move on to the next one, and it says finish, and we do that. This will now set up our chart of accounts, which is one of the few bits of accountancy terms that you get in all versions. It's just literally a list of all those accounts. And remember at the start I said everything's an account. So this sets them all up for you so you don't have to bother. Having said that, you can go and add, edit, remove them. So if, for example, you were a music shop and you wanted to record sales of violins and guitars, you could have accounts called sales of violins and guitars. It's that easy, really. The next part of this is part of our new version that's coming out, as I say. It should be out the week after next for everybody, free upgrade for everybody. We can build our templates here. This is for reporting, invoicing, and that sort of thing. Add your logo and all the rest. But also, you can just skip it here and just carry on and do your books. I just want to point out that we've got 3 flavors of business accounts. There's basic, professional, and enterprise. Basic is what I call pure bookkeeping. You can grab a whole shoebox worth of paperwork, your invoices and bills, chuck them in any order you like, and it will sort everything for you. The professional one adds on invoicing and customer history and quotations and credit notes, this sort of stuff from a document point of view. And then finally we have enterprise, which if you're somebody who deals with stock and you want to keep track of stock and how many things you've sold and set up stock items, that adds that side to the equation. So this keeps pretty much everybody covered, we found. I'm actually going to show you this because it's a pretty neat little way of setting up documents. So first of all, you select your paper size. And by the way, you can have as many of these documents as you like. So you can have an invoice for Christmas and another invoice for general sales. So you can have sort of invoices with fancy graphics on them that you just bring out once a year, which is terrific. It prints on your own paper, just plain white paper, so there's no cost in having to buy expensive stationery. This wizard, I'm going to just flash through it, accept all its defaults because they're pretty straightforward. And then we're going to get a view here, the first part, which is the reports section. We could add your company name. We've got it here because we set this up this way, but logos, add text. You can adjust the tables, columns, and everything else. We just accept that for the moment. We're going to move on now to our actual sales document, which will be an invoice in this thing. Put in a company logo. I've got to go and find one. I've got one here. I don't know what this is doing on my desktop, a live bird, but never mind. That's a lovely image. Reminds me a bit of my school image, actually. I'd ask you a few bits and bobs for some text, terms and conditions, because this is just going to create it for you. And there we are. Now if I click on this particular item here, I can go and resize it. Let's push that right up there. Very nice. Got the word invoice here. This is the great thing about this designer. I can click on any elements in this canvas here, and on the right hand side, I'm just going to close up my little control box here for the webinar. Anything you click on, here are the attributes for it. So you can adjust everything. And if I click on the table here, you can see there's loads of attributes we can change. There's pretty much nothing in here that you cannot change if you want to adjust. So you can design the invoice of your dreams, basically. Let's scale this a bit smaller. You've got control over the total box down here. You can move all of these things around where you like. If you've got printed and pre-printed stationery, obviously you'll turn some of these options off. But you've got total control over this. So there we are. In a flash, we've designed our invoice. Click on next, final bit, finish it. So this sets it all. And we're ready to go accounting. We've covered that pretty quick. So you've learned 5 years worth of accountancy in the first 10 minutes. And how to set up and design stuff. Now we're straight into what um, is revolutionary in accounting software terms, but what I can't believe hasn't been done before, right? Which is the easy button. Now, those people used to internet marketing circles will know there's plenty of products that come out with terms like the magic button, etc. And most people know that it just doesn't happen. There is no magic button. If you want to have a successful business, you have to work hard. That's it. Obviously, you can work smarter, but you still have to work. Well, here's the thing. We came up with the easy button because we said, well, what we can do is redesign things and let people literally click on a bunch of options that they understand and have the software create everything for them. And so, although it really did take a considerable amount of time for this to happen, we actually have this wonderful easy button. Now, that's available and has been available for about 6 months already. So if I show you, I've got another copy of Business Accounts here running. This is the current version, as you can see, exactly the same. So the new version, there's no changes there. There's a slight subtle variation at the top here. The buttons by default now have text in, which is great, so you don't have to decipher what on earth a little graphic means, which makes it very easy to navigate. With the old one, you can actually turn that text on as well, but by default it wasn't on, so pretty simple, subtle change. So in other words, if you buy the software now, don't worry, you're going to understand everything I'm talking about. But you get this upgrade anyway. But here we are. So you've got a new business, imagine, and we're thinking, right, what have I got to do? Well, you know what you've got to do. You've got to record what you're doing. So whatever you do, it's financial. You're either buying or selling. And that's why the first two options here, buy, pay, and sell, are there. And if you're buying something, you're going to have a document with you, a receipt, and you look at the receipt and you decide what it is. Now here's the thing, it may be you're adding an expense, you're buying a company vehicle, or you're buying some goods or a service from the Eurozone, and that's complicated VAT-wise, but not with the easy button, it's a piece of cake. But you also may be not quite sure what you're buying, which is why we've got the ultimate button here, Help Me Decide button. So if I click on that, this is how simple it is. You look on your document and it says, say, the 7th of September. And if you're not sure what a date of a purchase means, there's even help here on all of these bits. You put your mouse over it, and it tells you precisely the point of having a date on a document. So we select the date, move to the next screen. How much did you pay? Let's say 120, exactly, whatever you want. I'm going to just say one thing here. There's two ways of using account software. There's Power Mode, which is the fastest, it is absolutely hands down, the fastest accounting software on the planet. You need to know what you're doing, but once you see the way this works, that's easy too. But that way you can zoom through your accounts in no time at all. And then there's easy mode, and they all talk to the same thing, but they're kind of separate interfaces, if you like. So here we're in easy mode, and you get that simply by hitting the easy button. As I like to say, if you don't know what to do, hit the easy button. So here we are, £120. Are you purchasing from another EU country? No, I'm not, because this was, what was this? This was probably a train ticket, say, to a trip to Glasgow or something. Right, are you purchasing, it's going to ask me this question, so it can narrow down. Are you purchasing goods or equipment? No, it's definitely not goods or equipment. Please select the VAT rate applied to your purchase, okay? Well, that's going to be on your receipt. And remember, if you haven't got what you call a source document, a receipt, you've got no way to prove to the Inland Revenue that this is a valid expense. So if you've got that receipt, it will have the VAT rate on there. If it hasn't got anything to do with VAT on it, okay, then there is no VAT on here. So in this case, we're just going to stick 0, or you can put exempt. So, you know, as far as you're concerned, it's still part of VAT, but there is no VAT, so you can't claim anything back. That's my point, but we're going to call it standard here. And by the way, one thing I want to add here with our software, click on the help button. We've got help forums. You can access them here directly. If you're not sure about VAT rates, I'm just going to go and show you this. We've got one area here, essential answers, which is the most important one. There's all the other areas here. This is where we talk to our customers and they talk to us, and we have big, long discussions. But Essential Answers is where all of these things get consolidated down to a single definitive answer. And I personally go and talk and write to and telephone HMRC to get these answers. So this is an absolute unique source of accounting information in the UK. And down here, you'll find an item here, which VAT code to use. So if you look down here, this answer tells you everything you need to know if you're stuck. It gives you links to HMRC as well. So this is a vital resource. Incidentally, it's accounts.com/BAZ. That's all you need to know. That's short for business accounts. You can go and access that right now and have a look. I don't want you to, because you really need to come back and have a look at this. But anything you need to know about bookkeeping and accounting, those questions you've always wanted to ask, are down here in Essential Answers. So let's zoom back up here, standard. Move on to next. Right, how are you going to pay for this? Okay, well, I paid for it with my bank account, say with my debit card, right? There are help on each of these items. Supposing that you've got this on credit for some reason, I'm paying this later. You can see here that the text is in English. It's so you understand. It's good. You know, we could have put on credit as we have here, but actually I'm paying this later. You can understand this. And remember, this is a thing to help you. You just got to go through, answer the questions. The next one, right, okay, it's by bank. Which account? Because you can have as many bank accounts as you like, which is wonderful. Won't do you any good, but you can have them. You can also add and remove accounts, rename them, etc. So please select the supplier. Okay, unusually, we don't even have to put a supplier in. You can put one in if you want to, but you don't need to. If there's not one in the list here, you can add a new supplier here directly. We're just going to ignore that for now. Click on next. Okay, what's it for? Okay, this was for travel. Let's have a look down here. We've got something like that. There we are. Traveling and subsistence. It's a lovely older terms there for subsistence is normally sort of food and other travel costs and that sort of thing. I'm going to make a note to myself here to change the that default particular name there and make it a little bit more friendly. Let's click next. You can add a description if you want. Why you should do that is described here. A reference if necessary. That may be a reference on the receipt. Or you may want to write your own reference so you can track this later on, and some notes. And then we click next, and it says, right, this is what we're going to do. And then you've got a complete thing here. You've got a history of what you've done here, and we can go back and click on any of these steps. And when you're happy with it, we click on finish. And we're off to do another one. Now it's going to get interesting. Let's have a look what that actually did. So I'm going to go into power mode now. What we did was we added a purchase transaction. And as you can see, this is a table, and it's got a single line on it, and that's the purchase we just made. There's £120, this travelling subsistence, standard rate VAT. It's worked out the VAT for us and given us the amount less VAT as well. We've got everything here. And if we were to zoom over to our chart of accounts, and we open this group here, we can see at the moment we're making a £100 loss. That's because our £120 is not ours. £20 is for HMRC for VAT. But I'm just jumping straight in there. But let's go back to the easy button here. The next thing we do is we sell something. So not sure we are. Perhaps we're a consultant or something. What should we do? Should we sell something by cash or sell something on credit? Let's sell something by cash. So again, we put in the date. Let's say this was on the 1st of September. You can put things in any order you like. This is the great thing. You can just leave all of your receipts to the end of the month, even the end of the year. If you're not that registered, chuck them all in here, one after another, doesn't matter what order, and it will sort it for you. Here's the total amount. So the total amount, we sold this for £240. Next, if you sell products, it was a product, we can add a new product here and say, and also give the quantity, etc. We'll ignore that for now. Select the VAT, it was standard rated VAT. Select the customer, if it was a customer, I'm going to ignore that too. Select what it was for. Okay, this was for consultancy. Again, you could just add more accounts here. And remember, accounting is just about accounts and transactions and balances. That's it. Nothing else you need to know. Next, how did we pay for the thing then? Sorry, how did we get the money? It went to our bank here. And again, add a description. Tells you what you've done. Click on finish, and we've made a sale. Now, if we come over here to reports, we can go to profit and loss. We can set a start date for this, and this is the beauty of this. you're not fixed. With most accounting software, you've got no choice. You're fixed to whatever you told it at the start of your accounting year. With ours, you can create a profit and loss for any period you like. So if you need a £10,000 bank loan from the bank and you need to talk to them tomorrow and they ask you, well, what's your last 6 months P&L? It doesn't matter if you've had a year end in between or whatever. You can come here and you can pull out the last 6 months complete and show them a report. And that is going to give them confidence in you because they know you're right on top of your books. You don't have to say, I'll have to talk to my accountant and they'll only be made up to last December. So big advantages to doing this yourself. I'm going to backdate this to the 1st of August. So that's when this particular report starts from. And say we'll put it right up to the end of September. You see the relevancy of this. One click and there's our P&L report here. And we've got the legend here from the period 1st of August to the 30th of September. So that's it, job done. With this, we can email this, we can save it as a PDF, we can print it, and we can just save it anyway. So we've got that for future use. And so we've added a sale, we've added an expense, we've looked straight at our profit and loss. We can look at our balance sheet. Same thing, click on it, say, when do you want this balance sheet made up for? That's all you have to do, the end date. Click on next. Now, here's the funny thing about balance sheets. If you're a limited company, you'll need to submit one to Companies House, another one to HMRC, and perhaps a third one for your board. And you go, oh my God. With this, you can set up 3 different templates. So traditionally with Companies House, you can do a very consolidated one because that's the one that's shared with the public. So you don't really normally want to share your results with the public. So you'll make it very consolidated. And by consolidated, I mean you'll wrap it up in just your assets and liabilities and equity. So for example, if I open equity, which is where profit and loss exists, our report will just show our profit and loss. From HMRC, we may want to show them how that was broken down. For example, our sales, where the money came from for our sales, and our expenses down here. So we can click up, open all of these groups, and this is what will get produced for our balance sheet. So it is as simple as that. So you come here, buy pay, stick in all your receipts, put your invoices in here, click on report, do your reports, and get on with your business. I hope that's starting to sound pretty easy. There's loads of other options here, including year ends and the rest. But what I want to do now is break out of this easy section here, which is what most people do after a few months, once they get used to it, and they'll go straight into the actual transaction tables. So imagine you're going to stick in a whole bunch of invoices. Maybe you produce these, I don't know, manually or on Word or something else. You haven't used business accounts to do it. You've done them elsewhere. You can come here and you can enter them all one after another on any date. So say this one was on the 6th of August. So you can see now this is high-speed mode. Each row is a complete transaction. There's the first one. Every field you go to, you've got drop-down options, which just make it so much easier. You don't have to think very much. If there's anything wrong with any transaction, a little mark appears here, put your mouse pointer over it, it tells you what's wrong with it. Of course, we know what's wrong with it. We haven't finished it yet. But the good thing is we can leave it in this state. We can even quit the program and come back, and it comes back exactly where we left off. The one brilliant thing about accounts is there's no save button. Everything is saved for you all the time and automatically, and that includes backups. So you just work on it, and you leave it, and nothing disappears. Now, I say that because other software, you'll find it's got save buttons all over the place. You'll put in a bunch of transactions, you'll hit save, and they all disappear. You can't get them again without doing a report. That means that if you come back in a month's time, you've got no idea what you did last time, whereas with accounts, you can see it all there. It's all there waiting for you. Again, we can add a customer here. This is the critical part, from and to. Bookkeepers and accountants know these as credits and debits. From equals credit, to equals debit. They also have the columns swapped over, so they do the debit first, so they tend to put a transaction on the to side, and then think about where it came from. Switching this over makes it much simpler, and changing the legend from and to, this is what makes account software so simple. So this came from, say, a sales account. All I've got to do is start typing a bit of a name, and the drop-down box will show me everything with that in there. So if I remember it was from some service or another, I start typing service, and you see it's picked up other services. So dead easy. SA, press enter, it's gone in there. Where's it gone to? Well, the first one went, as you can see, to our current account. This second transaction, maybe this is unpaid. So I start typing unpaid. There it is, it's found it. Invoice is unpaid. So this is something I've sold on credit. I sold it for 399. Let's make it 0.99, including that. Over here, a lot of software uses weird codes here like T1 and T2 and T0, etc., which is fine if you know what they mean. But in UK law, these terms are actually called standard, exempt, zero, reduced, uh, EC acquisition, this sort of thing. We've given ours real names. If I press the space bar on any of these columns, you can see all the options. So if this is standard, I press S, and there it is. Simple as that. Works out the VAT for you. If the VAT, if you do, this normally applies with payments. If you receive a receipt and they've got the VAT slightly wrong, this is a great tip, you've got a choice. You can copy their error onto your thing. If you're VAT registered, you're simply carrying the error on. They'll take the VAT from you and reclaim it from the government. You do the same thing. So nobody loses out. So you can just carry their error onto your books, or you can send them the invoice back. But the beauty of this is you can go into the VAT amount and edit it manually if you need to. The other really important thing is that every transaction has an independent VAT date. That is brilliant if you put a transaction in and you haven't got a receipt for it, and later on you find one and you realize that it has got VAT and you want to claim it. You can claim the VAT independently on your VAT return, independently of your income tax return. This is really important and a vital thing to know. You can do it just by editing the VAT date here. Now, having made that transaction, I want to whiz back to the chart of accounts to show you how this all works. Our profit is now 433.33. So with one single click, I know exactly where I am. And if I open up our accounts, I can see that the reason it's 433 is because my incoming stuff, my sales, is 533.33, and my outgoings is 100. And so my profit is 433. And that is accounting, seriously. Now, if I open up the sales group, I can see that 333 came from sales and 200 from consultancy. So from here, I can start to make decisions about what it is that works best for me. And you can add and remove accounts. If I show you this, I click on the Account Manager button, come up here, we can add, edit, delete, restructure, you can move things around. Obviously, you only want to do that if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, just accept what we have here. You've got complete control over all of this, but you can start to make good business decisions based on this. So I want to explain one little thing here that will definitely help you with accounting, right? There are three major groups in accounting. It's called the accounting equation, and it's assets equals liability plus equity. Assets, we all know, right, but it's important to get into your brain. Assets is what the business owns, right? Not you, but the business. This is this great thing. I know Suresh put a nice post on Rapid Leverage as well on one of his forums. It's really important to understand there's you and there's your business. They're separate entities. If you treat them separately, it means you can make great business decisions about your business. You don't take it personally. And that's why in business accounting, they're separate. So we've got assets here, everything the business owns. Liabilities, that's everything the business owes. But in this case, it's everything the business owes third parties, suppliers, in other words. Maybe the government, if you owe VAT. And the final bit is equity. Now, that's also everything the business owes, but this time it's what it owes the owners. So that is you. And that's why if we open it, you'll find the profit and loss in there. Now, for the bookkeepers and accountants amongst you that have come on here that are perhaps learning the subject, that will become a bit of a surprise, because most people are used to having a profit and loss report. They don't think of a profit and loss as being an account. But it is. It's just another account in the account system. It has money flowing in and money flowing out. That's it. Accounting, I'll say, it's that simple. And you can put in your sales, put in your purchases, come here and see the difference. And I think what's good about having a webinar like this is it's probably the first time you've ever heard somebody explain this for what it really is. I hope that certainly helps to demystify a lot of this. And if you're still awake, well, congratulations. That's pretty good. You've definitely learned something from this. And as I say, moving on the same bit, you can see how it is broken down. If we look at the expenses, our £100, we can see what that was. Okay, that was traveling. Right now, if you look at this and you find one of these things is much higher than you expected, it gives you information on how you can start to control your expenditure for the future. So this is really important. And it's why you keep your books. It's for management purposes. You know, you've got to do it legally, that's fine, but this is what it's really about. Now, here's the thing. We have chucked in some sales here, and there they all are. We've put in a purchase, and we can add more and more and more. All of this lot, if we're VAT registered, we come to one really important thing. Every 3 months, your VAT return. And in business accounts, it's one click. That's it. That's the UK VAT return. It's the only software with a one-click VAT return. So we're looking at the current period up here. Here's the box numbers. This is the amount in the box. Here you may need to just make your control panel smaller, or perhaps I should make this a little bit shorter. How about that? That's a bit better, isn't it? So here you can see precisely what you should put in each box. And better than this, down at the bottom, you can actually see the transactions that were involved. So this is sales, what's called your output tax, and purchases, your VAT input tax. But these are the actual transactions involved that produce those results. Now, we talk to HMRC VAT inspectors from time to time. They absolutely love this because it's not only so simple to see the results, they can see in one single window everything they need in order to verify it. So imagine if you get a VAT inspection and they come along and they see this, they'll A, they'll be able to understand your accounts because you understand it, and B, they'll be able to see all the results. This is good news. Very good news. I've had 2 VAT inspections in my 32 years in business, so I know what it's like. I understand what they want, and that's why we're able to build software like this. Here's the best bit, though. We talked about filing VAT online. As of April this year, you had to do it. As I say, you can still do it manually. Anyway, you go online and you type in all the figures, which is fine. But here, you can click on this button, and this will file it for you automatically online. As Business Accounts is HMRC accredited for VAT online filing. So does it all for you. So just to summarize this, we've got our sales, and you'll notice that we color code our things. Things in blue are to do with sales, money coming in. Things in red, money going out. We've got our sales transactions here. We can stick in all our invoices in one go. Purchases, put all our purchases in here. Come onto the chart of accounts, look at the results there, check we've got money in the bank. Okay, everything the business owns. Remember, you don't own the bank account, the business does. That sounds peculiar, but that's it. We have a look. Here's our current account, £120. Fantastic. We could probably go off to that trip to Glasgow again on the train with that. One last thing here. If I double click on any of these accounts, it opens up a table on the right, and we can actually look direct. In other words, drill right down into that account and find out how it got to be £120. And it's quite simple. 240 went in and 120 came out. So there we are. The one other really important thing here, I won't labour this point, but the only one thing that everybody should do with their accounts is what's called reconcile your bank. That is, check that everything in your bank is real. That's obviously to stop any fraudulent transactions, but also to prove your accounts in a way. And reconciling a bank in business accounts is a piece of cake. You come here, just as I've done here, click on this filter, and you say, just show me the uncleared entries. Well, this is the unlocked one, sorry. There's lots of lovely features here. Here's the uncleared entries. You clear it here, you tick it off on your bank statement, and you clear it there, and then you come back here and you say, right, just show me the cleared stuff, and you've got your complete lookalike bank statement. Really, really easy. So the other bit, as I said, we've got our income, our outgoings, we look at the accounts, and we've got our VAT return. And the last bit, because we're coming near to the end of this, is I just want to show you the invoicing side. This is on Business Accounts Professional. Here's our customer debt records thing. This has had a big overhaul in comparison with the previous version. I'll just show you that here so that you can look at the 2 bits. I'll just wait for the screen to catch up. They still do the same functions, so that's fine. From here you can click on an invoice. It's just we've made this a lot easier to use. Here's our customer. Let's add a new one. Do the old traditional Fred Blogs and Co. By the way, that's quite interesting. I've just added a new customer, and what did I do? Type in a name. Want to add another one? I can put an address in here, by the way. I just click on Create New Customer, and let's do another customer. I've added another one. Now, to add a new customer is one click, and it's one of the beauties of our software is that almost everything is just 1 or 2 clicks. That's what makes it so easy to remember for people. But we've got a customer here. Let's put in an address, any town, some postcode, blah, blah, blah. And we can go create new invoice. Here we are, we type in a nice long description. You've got complete control, by the way, over paragraphs and everything. This will be from sales again. and this is going straight to our bank current account. Obviously, you'd give the name NatWest or HSBC or whoever you're with, the amount of the transaction, VAT, got a transaction done. You can add as many transactions as you like. You can have an invoice that's split across different accounts, so that you may want to have a sale here and maybe there's some postage, and you want to split them up so that you have a much better management idea. You could all do it from here. When you're happy with that, you could just email this straight out to a customer, or you can print it, save it as a PDF. Click on the preview here. Here's our transaction. Look down the bottom here so you can see the total. And as I say, you've got complete control over all of that. So it's the same on the supplier side. If you want to do a purchase order, you can do that. But that pretty much wraps it up, I think. So if Suraj, you're still there?
Yeah, I am, Quentin. Thanks so much for that. I think, I mean, I know I was making and scribbling down lots of little notes, I'm sure from judging from the questions that people have asked, they were scribbling down lots and lots of notes, and seeing the benefits and the value of using accounts in their business. I think the fact that you busted some myths and the points that you raised about accounting in general for businesses and at the start, that certainly didn't know a lot of those points and those things that you mentioned. Things like anyone can keep your books, not just an accountant. And I think for small businesses, for entrepreneurs, for startups, that is so important because you want to keep your accounts yourself. You want to do things yourself without having to pay expensive accountancy fees if you can. When you're starting a business, you want to save money where you can. I think something like accounts really, really helps you do that. What I really appreciate personally is the fact that you made the concepts and all the words and all the bits and bobs related to accounting so easy for non-accountants. I love how much effort has gone into busting the jargon from the interface if you're not an accountant. That's one of the biggest challenges I find with my accounts, is when I look at things and read things relating to them, I don't know what they mean, and I just have to sort of nod and smile. So it's really important that you did that, and I personally appreciate that. A couple of questions here, Quentin, for you
Yeah.
from some of our listeners tonight. Some of which you've sort of answered, but I'm going to go through them just so you can recap them anyway. So the first question, great question from Carol. Carol asked that she was looking at the website recently, and that she saw a home version of accounts and a business version of accounts.
Yes.
The question was, what about solo or sole proprietors who mix up sort of home and business accounts? So if you're a sole proprietor or self-employed, uh, you don't necessarily have to. It's not necessarily a separate entity like it is with a limited company. So which version would be the best one for Carol or someone in that situation to use, the home or the business version of accounts?
Sure, that's a great question, and that question comes up a lot. Accountants would always give you one stock answer, which is don't do it. I believe in customers and what they want, and sure, you can do it, just don't do it in the same set of accounts.
Sure.
Okay, but here's the thing. If I'll get on to which version in a second. If you're running your business and you find that you're using your business accounts and sometimes you're using your own personal credit card, which is what happens, they're the questions we get all the time, instead of recording your credit card in your accounts, because you don't really want your personal finance going into your business,
Right.
you record it as cash. So if you bought your train, your £50 train fare with your personal credit card, in your books, say the money came from cash. And you'll find that then your cash account just goes down and down. And every now and again, you write yourself a business check to top your cash up. And for that, you make a simple transaction from a current account to cash to top it back up. So that's it. If you're going to if you're going to mix up your personal finances with your business, only include the business transactions. And where you've used your own credit card or something, just call it cash. That's what you do. Now, secondly, if all she needs to do is record transactions and she's not VAT registered, home accounts 100%. Absolutely go for home accounts. Home accounts allows you multiple files as well. So with that, you can use one, your sole proprietor, non-VAT registered business, just to record all of your transactions. And you can restructure the accounts there to represent a balance sheet. It's quite easy. We've got loads of help on the forum on that because we've got lots of treasurers who use it. And if also then you can then have another file actually to look after your home accounts, because that's what it was made for. So you can actually have two files on the one platform for the two things.
Brilliant.
And obviously, if you're VAT registered, business accounts, you've got a VAT file online. Um, that's the right thing to do. Go for business accounts if you're VAT registered. You'll love the VAT return and filing.
Excellent. Carol, I hope that answers your question. Carol also asked another question. You did answer it to an extent, but just to make sure that anyone who missed that point gets it as well. Carol asked, does the software work for people in the US? And I'll add in there, or anywhere else in the world, in particular the legal issues. And I'm assuming, Carol, you mean the tax issues local to the US and to other countries. I know, Quentin, you showed that you can have the software in any currency, which will automatically tailor it to show the relevant tax and the VAT in that country. But
Yes.
is that have I got that right?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't deal with income tax. Okay, we don't deal with that anywhere.
Hmm.
It's the sales tax VAT side of stuff,
Got
and
it.
in the US they only have sales tax, and we cover that fully. You need to, when you set up the software, it will ask you to input your current sales tax rate in the particular state that you're in. But it does all of that for you. So it'll give you all the results you need to fill in your tax forms. But that's only for the sales tax side of things. For all things, when it comes down to income tax, then you're filling in self-assessment forms and the rest. And that's another ball game altogether.
Sure, brilliant, fantastic. Carol, I hope that helped. Next question is from Caroline. Great question again. Hi, Quentin. My accountant uses Sage software, but presumably, if I use accounts, it can be saved in such a format that he can import it into Sage. And to clarify, she said that she currently sends him spreadsheets, but she'd like to have a better overview, which is why she wants to use accounts, and also to improve her own bookkeeping skill. Does accounts have a feature like that at all?
Yes, a great question. Everything in accounts can be exported as a spreadsheet file.
Brilliant.
And Sage, like most software, you can import these types of files. The actual thing to do with the accountant is to get them to download a trial copy of accounts and actually email them your file. Because your license key travels with your data and not with the software, they can load it up and they can actually view your accounts. And if they contact us, we'll help them understand what it is they're looking at. In fact, what they'll do is they'll turn on the option English for accountants, which you can do at any time. The beauty of this, right, is that you can carry on doing your accounts on accounts so you can understand what you're doing. They can add what they call year-end journals to it, and they can export that and send it back to you, and you can import it. So you can actually carry on, and they can finish off the books for you. So it works very well. We do this with a lot of accountants.
Fantastic.
But obviously, some of them, don't want to use other software. They only want to use Sage or QuickBooks or some of the other brands. In which case, absolutely, you can do the lot. In fact, we've got another easy button coming very shortly, which wraps up the complete year end in one single step. So that will do all the reports necessary, zip the whole lot together, and email it straight to an accountant.
Wow. Quentin, it seems like you've thought of everything.
Thank you very much.
Okay, brilliant. Next question from Carol. Okay, great question again, Carol. What if you have multiple businesses? For example, I have my personal accounting, my travel agent business, and I also do some small business marketing. Can you incorporate all of that into this software?
Yes, you can. You can buy for business accounts. You can buy separate companies. So, for example, for basic, an extra company costs £49 plus VAT. But these costs, they're one-off for life. They're not some annual charge or anything else. All our software, it's desktop software. You buy it once and you don't ever have to pay again. So with that, you just buy as many companies as you need. The only exception we do to this is with home accounts, which is just meant for personal accounting, and there's no limit. You can have as many files as you like.
Brilliant.
So,
Quentin,
but for business, use it.
can I
Yep.
add something to that question? For a question from myself to add to Carol's question, if you have sort of multiple businesses, for these separate businesses that you buy, are you able to have those in separate countries, or do they have to be the same country as the
No,
original
they
one?
absolutely individual.
Okay.
So you can, yep, completely. They're completely sort of separate entities as far as the software is concerned.
Fantastic. So I think for all of our international entrepreneurs on the line, that probably satisfies your question if you had that question.
Yes.
Okay, next question from Sanjay. How can I get this software? That's probably the best question so far.
That's
Sanjay,
absolutely the best question.
Sanjay, as you can see on the screen, there is going to be a special offer that I'm going to share with you in a moment. So just hang on just a few more moments, and I'll be able to share that with you when we get through the questions. But that is definitely a great question to ask. Rachel, thanks for your question. You've said really love this software, brilliant. I've worked on different bookkeeping softwares, and I must admit this seems way easy. I am setting up businesses in South Africa and would have loved to use the software for my business. Any chance on looking into this request? Again, Quentin, I'm sure I
Well,
saw South Africa on that list. Was it
you
there?
did. Guess what? It works in South Africa. We
Fantastic.
even actually have a South African distributor. They're called Phoenix Software. But no problems. Contact us anyway, and we'll sort you out.
Okay, so Rachel, the answer to your question is a resounding yes. Absolutely, you can use this for your business in South Africa. Speaking of South Africa, I love South Africa. We've got lots of clients in the Rapid Leverage Forum from South Africa, from Cape Town, from Durban, from Joburg, and I love the place myself. So hello to Rachel in South Africa. Next question from Richard. Do you have a US support phone number? Can you change the language in the software to American English?
Um, we don't have a dedicated US number, unfortunately, but let me explain the support, the way we handle it. First of all accounts customers get free lifetime email support. Okay, I mention that because we also have our forum, which again is also free. The reason that we have the two of them is that some people are quite happy to air their request in public, but other people want a private reply. And we have experts at accounts. We'll give you the proper answer, which is really important. The third way is that we have telephone support, which we give. Everybody has 30 days free telephone support on business accounts when they first get it. After that, there's an annual support contract, telephone support contract, if you want it. Actually, a lot of people do take that up in the first year because they don't want to search for answers, but you don't need it. And the key here is my task in managing accounts is to actually remove support altogether, and the only way to do that is to make the software easier. So we have a dedicated customer charter, and it says we want the happiest customers in the world. That's it. There's a few more lines down there, but that's the important thing. So all of my efforts are to make the software easier and easier, which means that even if you are in the US, you're going to find it less reasons to telephone us. So sorry, we don't have a US number at the moment. We're still at pretty much a 9 to 5 company, but maybe we'll change.
Sure. Richard, I'm sure if you fancy a chat with Quentin, I'm sure he'll be up for a Skype conversation either way, just for a bit of a chat. And from personally knowing Quentin for a while now, he makes himself so accessible anyway, no matter what country you're in, by email and
Yes.
generally the online support system, the forum, and this webinar itself. He's making himself so available to help people understand the software. So I hope that answers your question, Richard. Quentin, Richard's also asked another question. Does the software integrate with American banks and/or PayPal in
No,
any
it
way?
doesn't integrate with any banks.
Okay.
Um, Here in the UK, as soon as you start doing this, your end user license agreement, or EULA, you have to state in there, our software will talk to your bank and it will ask you for your username and password. And because we're a British company, this is where we've grown, our users absolutely resoundingly say, no way are we
Yeah.
having that. So it's different. I mean, the US is actually a much more open society, incredibly, right? In that the banks are happy to talk to each other. In the UK, they hate each other, and we hate them as well. But whatever. So they just don't talk to each other. So you have to get agreement from everybody to get this thing happening, and it's very painful. But I know certainly our existing customers don't want it. I would suspect that Richard is probably used to something like maybe Microsoft Money or Quicken that did have these things in place in the States and in the UK. Most of those are stopped now, but in the US you could do this. But here's another thing about business accounting. You can go and just download bank statements, etc. But on those bank statements, they don't tell you anything about sales tax, or any breakdown of where these transactions have come from or gone to. And it's the same thing. Without your actual source documents, you don't know where you are. So whilst it does sound very appealing to be able to just like download a bank statement and have your accounts done for you, if that was the case, trust me, there wouldn't be any accountants.
Fantastic. And our final question, unless anybody else is about to type something in, is from Gladys. Gladys has asked an important question. Her question again is along the lines of Sanjay's question. She's asked, "Is it free?" Well, Gladys, it's probably your lucky day, because I'm going to share with you in a moment how you can get this software for free for life, including the support, and you get Quentin with that as well. So it's a brilliant brilliant offer.
For as long as I last.
Yeah, well, you get the software for life, you get Quentin for life, and it's going to be happy days for everyone. I'm going to come back to that in a second, Gladys. We just got another question here. Um, Lewis has asked, would it be safe to assume that there is a payroll module and that talks to HMRC, and will it be RTI ready? And does it handle CIS? That's all the accountancy stuff, which hands up, I understand nothing of. So, Quentin, over to you.
Yeah, we'll start with CIS. That's the construction industry scheme. So it's a scheme for builders, so that the government takes their tax before they go and spend it down the pub. We've got one of my essential answers precisely on how to handle CIS, and yes, it does handle CIS completely. With payroll, we don't do a payroll module, and the reason is quite simple. There's an online payroll company called the payrollsite.co.uk. There are others around the rest of the world as well. But we like the payrollsite.co.uk because they agreed to link up to us. So here's another reason. With our software, you pay for it once and that's it. You own it for life. With all payroll software, you'll find you have to take up some contract and you pay for it over and over and over again. And that's because the Chancellor changes the rules every year. Sometimes to a great degree, director stuff changed a few years ago, and sometimes not. Whatever it is, all payroll companies, there's a few free ones as well, by the way, but all those you pay for, they have to charge every year. And I don't kind of like that idea. It sounds like a feeble excuse, doesn't it? But whatever it is, we're in the business of selling accounting software, and you buy it once, and that's it. So if you happen to hook it up to the payroll site, and you do your payroll in there, it will automatically bring in your transactions. But here's the thing, you can use any payroll software. Putting in payroll transactions into business accounts is a piece of cake. It's really simple. The money's come from your bank and it's gone to your salaries. And you'll put them in individually because you pay the employees individually. And then the final one is one more payment from your bank to HMRC for the tax PAYE payments and NIC. And that's it. So if you've got 5 employees, you'll end up with 6 transactions, 5 for the salaries and 1 for the PAYE payment. That's all there is to it. Again, it's all in essential answers. But this is the problem with accounting. People just shy away because it just all seems mystical and difficult to understand, but it isn't really. And it just so happens you can use any payroll stuff. You'll find most of them you can export it as CSV, and again, we can import all of these files. So you don't even have to type them in. You can just import them anyway. But with the payroll site, it actually does it all for you online. It sticks all of your transactions straight in. So I hope that's a good enough answer.
Fantastic. I've just been crossing off a whole bunch of notes that I've made because the questions that I had noted down to ask you, because you've answered pretty much everything through other people's questions and through the demonstration
Oh, that's great,
itself.
Suresh.
So thanks very much, Quentin. For those of you who joined us a little bit later on after we'd started, you might be wondering, who am I? Who's this guy asking Quentin the questions? And before I go into the special offer, which will take a couple of minutes, I just want to very quickly recap on who I am. So my name is Suraj, for those of you who don't know me already or who missed the start of the webinar. And I run the Rapid Leverage Forum, which is a online marketing private mastermind and coaching forum for entrepreneurs, small businesses, who are spending too much time or wasting too much time trying to Google all the information you need about marketing your business on the internet, whether that's blogging, social media, pay-per-click, WordPress, building websites, any productivity tools, project management online, anything that you can categorize under internet marketing. We coach people on that inside this private forum. where we've got webinars, just like a webinar you're on right now, to help business owners overcome problems. In this case, accounting, but other things like blogging and SEO and pay per click and all the other lovely stuff that comes with internet marketing. And you're all absolutely invited to join us in the forum. There's a free membership option. There's also a premium membership option there as well. You just got to go to rapidleverage.net. You can see here some of the benefits of joining the forum. We've got a community of about 650 entrepreneurs and marketers and business owners in there from all over the planet. We've got lots from South Africa, lots from the US, loads from Australia, and of course, loads from the UK and across Europe as well. And it's really a nice private mastermind group what you can use as a resource to find information and ask questions, and most importantly, get the answers to your questions very, very quickly without having to Google something or email anybody. Okay, so that was my little shameless plug there. Back to accounts and what this is all about. Account software, Quinton, correct me if I'm wrong, but has just been awarded the best consumer software in its category by Macworld. Is that right?
Yeah, well, yes, on Macworld magazine we got the editor's choice.
Brilliant.
We also got nominated for this year's Macworld Awards 2012. So
Excellent, excellent, and that's what that little badge there represents.
yes,
But this software has been, given 5 stars and given absolutely fantastic ratings across various industry magazines and publications, online and offline. And for our British members and listeners tonight, you'll be proud to know that this is absolutely made in Britain. It's got the made in Britain stamp on it right there. And what I'm going to share with you now is a special offer. Uh, on how you can get this software absolutely free of charge. What you need to do is go over and join us at the Rapid Leverage Forum as a premium member. It's a one-off lifetime membership. There's no ongoing fees or hidden fees or anything at all like that. It's a one-off membership where you've got lifetime access to all the webinars, all the recordings of how-to videos, all of the information inside there for life, for as long as you're in business. It's you can access it via your iPhone, your iPad, BlackBerry. So it's all mobile, or you can obviously get it from your computer as well. It's completely private, so any questions you ask in there will never ever be shown to Google because it's all privatized and locked away under username and password. So nobody will ever you never need to worry that somebody searching for you or your business will find a post from you asking, how do you start a blog or how do you do something. Treat it like we are your coaches and your mastermind group for your online marketing needs. What you need to do is, as soon as you've joined as a premium member, send us a support request or send me a message inside the forum, and I'll need your name, your email address, and your address, as in your shipping address. And as a gift, and thank you for being with us tonight on the webinar as a reward for being on our webinar, as well as joining us today. We, as Rapid Leverage, will buy accounts for your business. We're in the business of helping small businesses, so all of our profits are reinvested into our clients, and we want to show you by reinvesting part of your membership fee, which is a one-off lifetime fee, into your business to once and for all sort out your accounts and make life easier for you. So we will buy accounts for you, either the home accounts package or the business accounts package, whichever one suits you the best. And that saves you just under £100, I think, of buying it yourself. So you get tremendous value from that. You also get Quinton with that. Like I said, you now also get me with that. And I won't go on about my life story, but I've built up a very successful online marketing company. We help clients all over the planet, running workshops and seminars, teaching them how to grow their business on the internet. And this is one element of your business that everyone needs to get right, which is the accounts. So we're in the business of helping small businesses and entrepreneurs just like you. So we want to give you accounts to get you started. So that takes the decision away from you. You don't. It's a no-brainer decision. You're going to get accounts. It's as simple as that. It'll be shipped out to you as soon as you join. So I look forward to seeing you as new members inside the forum and networking with you with our other 700 or so members from around the world. Quinton, do you have anything to say as we close up tonight?
Yeah, just a big thank you to Suresh for hosting this. Suresh did this entirely off his own bat. I'm really honoured that you chose me seriously, which is why I wanted to, you know, really explain things tonight and give people some great value. So no, just thank you very much, Suresh. Brilliant.
Fantastic. If nobody else has got any more questions, then that's a wrap for tonight, or this morning, or this afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in right now. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week, as we approach the weekend. And if you've got any questions about marketing online, the Rapid Leverage Forum is for you. Quinton's going to be active in his forum as well, so please get in touch, and we look forward to helping you grow your business for what's left of this year, which is very quickly coming to a close. Have a great evening or a great rest of the day, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Thanks very much.